we're going to do something to RedBeard that RedBeard didn't expect. We will compare him to a master hafter. Put some water on there, and let's see if I can count that. I'll use a little pointer thing here. Oh, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 growth rings go across that. Now just a second here. Woman, you're on the recording.
Turns out I'm not just the plumber. Got in trouble because I didn't have supper ready. We'll finish after supper. Having ribs.
All right, Ed over at RedBeard. I've owed you this for so long. You know, if you look up Ed on Google, Google AI is going to tell you Ed is the short form of socially affable and incredibly generous man. Ed sent me an axe handle with his logo on it. Now, I don't know, Ed, do you make these? Or is this a Whiskey River that you've modified, or I'm not sure exactly what it is.
I'm up here in North Dakota because I was rushing to get everything done back home before I took off again. You know, I travel during the week. Come home on Thursday nights. I have Friday and Saturday, Sunday I take off again. And I really wanted to get this done, but when I got home, there had been a pipe that burst. The basement was flooded. When we got done, we didn't have hot water. We called a guy to come check it because we got this like maintenance plan. And then of course, if it's an old house, you can't change the washer in an old faucet without chasing the pipe out to the street because everything you touch is brittle and it's going to break, and then you got it. I was doing plumbing. That's the comment about I'm not just a plumber, I'm also the cook. Quick pot in 30 minutes will make the ribs. It'll save you 3 hours making ribs because it will tenderize them. The juices will be perfect, and then you just take them in a pan and sear them. So you do whatever preparations you want to it. You sear it up in the pan, crispy on the outside, fall apart off the bone on the inside. All right. So our main point of stopping right now to interrupt was that I was going to tell you, I asked him today, I asked Ed Wittenberg, how do you get these axes? And he said that originally he was making them, but the productions were starting to be too demanding. He couldn't keep up. So he asked Whiskey River, who he has a really good relationship. In fact, he was just here a week ago. I'm in Minnesota. He landed in Duluth and went over to Iron River in Wisconsin, where Whiskey River is, and he was there for the auction. Go to his website, you'll see, or go to his Facebook or his YouTube, and you'll see him at that auction. So he said he had them do it. He took them up a handle. They made a master from it. They run him off for him. Now, your quality axe manufacturers, they're not working with boards from the lumber yard. You are mistaken if you think that's just sawn lumber. That lumber was prepared for handles. Hoffman explains this on his website. He doesn't just go to the lumber yard and says, give me a bunch of, 5.4 lumber so I can make axe handles, or 6.4, whatever he's getting. That wood follows the grain. That's how come when you get those premium axe handles, the grain's always straight because they're working with split wood. That's what you're going to get if you get an axe from Ed. You're getting it from Whiskey River, and I had not bought a handle from Whiskey River. Coach, up there, Coach Cumberland, you got competition. Whiskey River's making some pretty good handles. And the style that Ed has, that's unique to him. If you're getting the axe from Ed, you're getting one of Ed's axe handles. I love the thing. I am in love with this thing. Now, it's going to be kind of hard because I'm a cheapskate. So for a lot of my axes, I just want something on the head so I can go experience the head. I'm still, I have a lot of handle preferences now, but I'm still a guy who is testing axe theories. And that theory bled over into handles, and that's where I'm at now. But for me to buy a $2 head that I find at a rummage sale and then put a $50 or $60 handle on it, I ain't there yet. Okay. If you request one and you're going to pay me back for the expense, oh, no problem. I'll order you whatever you want. If you get it from East Coast Lumberjack, you are going to get a custom handle. You're going to wait for it because you're going to go on a list and he's going to make it exactly for you. That's not off the shelf. That's made for you when you request it. If you're getting one from Hoffman or Whiskey River, I imagine even Beavertooth, which are a lot more economical, you're getting pretty good. I've got a lot of Beavertooth handles. You're getting really good handles. I like the house patterns. I think they're still, I don't know, Ed would know. Ed's been there. Ed is a big time axe community guy. He has been to house handle company. He's been where the lathes are. He's watched them make their handles. So I think they're still using their old lathes. They might be 100 years old or something. I saw a video where they were doing it. I don't know if they're doing that in 2026 or not. And there's a lot of, there was a time just a few years ago you couldn't get good handles. You'd have to get Killinger handles, and Killinger got out because people are tards. After COVID, they were not very polite. People had lost their sense of being neighborly or polite or courteous or respectful. And they started to be really too demanding, and you don't have time for that. Yeah, I understand. We all have busy lives. If this is not your career, this is a hobby on the side. This is what you do when all your work is done, when all your responsibilities are taken care of. You get to play with your axes, and sometimes you're playing with your axes and you feel a little bit guilty because you're cheating something else. Anyway, back to it. But he sent it to me because it has a blemish. It's got a little bark inclusion on it. And he didn't want to sell that as a premium because he only does premium work. Watch his channel. It's premium work. I can't make mine come out as pretty as his are. And then he also concentrates on making them, here's his logo, yeah, making them useful. He wants them to be usable axes that if you decided you wanted to go out and that was your working axe, that you could do that. He said, what's the sense of making one if you can't? He said that on a number of his videos so far. Beautiful axe handle, but I thought, Ed, let's put you to the test by comparing it to some other axe handles that I get. Now, I'm mostly a cheap guy. I will get, well, here's some examples here. I will get, this is a 30-inch Foxy manufacturing handle. Look at how big and fat around that thing is. But it's a great pattern. So what I look at it is, I can get this for like $6 or $7. And I tell them, don't finish it. I want it rough. I want it rough just like this. You order it from the website. The shipping prices have come down. To me, it seems, because it wasn't that bad. I ordered, a big box of them. But to get this handle, for me, saves me the trouble of finding a hickory blank, which, be $35 or more for the hickory that I want to use. And I can get this for $6. So he's given me a blank. That's why I look at it. He's given me a blank and a head start on the pattern. All I got to do is thin this down to my preferred dimensions. You know what those are. And we're starting at, that's going to be over an inch. I just know it's going to be over an inch. And I don't mind that at all. I'd rather get an axe that's fat because I'm going to work on it. Yeah, that's an inch. That's nearly 1.25 inches thick. Okay? And this way, we don't want it to be more than 1.5 inches. And that's about 1 5/8 inches. So it's a little over 1.5 inches. Now I'll probably bring it down this way to 1.25 inches. And this way, I'm going to go to 3/4. I don't want my axe handles to be thicker than 3/4. I've got axe handles up to 5 pounds. I don't want them on more than 3/4,
when I get them from Rod Cumberland, Coach Cumberland, the Master Hafter, you just can't. You cannot find a more premium, high quality axe handle than you would get from the custom manual maker of axes. Now, when I order axes from somebody else, I'm getting them off a lathe or something. I'm getting them off mass production. When you get them from Rod Cumberland, he harvests that wood. He seasons that wood. He splits that wood so that it goes perfectly down the grain. Every handle is going to have, and this one does, this is Foxy's $6 handle, vertical grain. Why wouldn't it? Because that's the way he split it. He's not sawing them, he splits them. And he will do it exactly to the dimensions that you specify. So he's watched my videos, he knows what my preferences are. When his axe handles come, let me show you some. When his axe handles come, here's an ash one. Okay, that's ash. That's already, I didn't have to do anything to the sides of this. It's already 3/4. Right at 3/4 of an inch. So there wasn't anything I had to do to the sides. So if Rod were to put his emblem on here or sign it, I don't have to worry about losing that as I'm hanging my axe. And the eyes are big and fat. You can make them perfect. That is perfect to this eye. And then I just take this part down to what I want. And like I said, I don't like to go more than 1.5 inches. What do we got right here? I think it came at 1 3/4 inches, maybe 1 5/8 inches. It's right at 1.5 inches, just a titch under. Not quite, not maybe a 1/16 of an inch under 1.5 inches tall here. And that's because this is a 4.5 pound head on this one. If it was a 3.5 pound head, I'd probably go 1.25 inches here. Why? Because I want the flexibility of the wood. That's why we bought them. All right, so here is one. Looks like I didn't start on this one yet. Another Foxy 30-incher. Like I said, I got a huge box of those, and they come okay. If you're into economy, look at how perfectly straight up and down. Look at how tightly grained that is. Boy, I bet there's 30 grains across there, 30 growth rings. That's tight. When I get done, I will have left this part, but I will thin this down, like I said, quite a bit. Now that's what makes me nervous. Oh, and I got so many things I'm trying to do. I travel during the week, I'm home, I come home on Thursday night late, maybe about 8 o'clock at night. I'm home on Friday and Saturday, and then I'm off again on Sunday, taking off on the road. I'm going up to Fargo next, so tomorrow I'll be taking off. So I don't get a lot of time down here, and this week, Ed, this is my apology. This week and last week I've been busy. Last week, because of the temperatures, they're 15, 17, 18 below zero, with up to a 50 below zero wind chill. Pipe broke in the basement, flooded it. Come home from the road. Well, we've got a flooded basement. Well, I've got a leak in the water heater. That water heater's got to be replaced. And there's a bigger problem, pipe burst. So I'm working on that, fixing that, cleaning up down here, because this is the basement. I'm trying to get that done. And then she had said we have no hot water. Of course, we don't have it with the water heater. So had a guy come down. He said, well, you've got a crack in the bottom of your water heater. I can't fix it. It's got to be replaced. I'm not paying a guy to fix a water heater. He's going to charge me $1,300 for the job. And I can find a water heater maybe for $500, $550, really cheap when I know a place that's got. The one we're replacing was $240 on sale 8 years ago. In my town, a water heater that lasts 8 years, you did pretty good. Now you just go 20 miles up the road, they've got 15 years out of them. You can't get that in this town. You're going to get about 8 years. Okay, so you try to get a budget one because if you spend money on an expensive one, it's going to go. Replace the water heater. Now in an old house, when you shut off the water for a long time, and then you turn it back on, and you've been banging pipes and replacing pipes, you're going to go around the house now and every fixture, you're going to have to take it apart and clean it because you've shook loose some sediment. The sediment clogs it. You're not going to get a good pour out of there. While I was doing that, that pipe behind me breaks. Okay, so I got to replace the valve and pipe on the thing that goes up to the shower. So I just got that done today. I had it kind of monkey rigged so I could just use the shower, but it was pathetic. And now we've got it fixed. We got that fixed. We got the water heater replaced. We got that pipe replaced. We're done. So Ed, sorry I didn't get to this. I haven't gotten to a lot of things. I want to hang this Collins 33-inch handle. Nice, beautiful little Collins double bit, and I'm going to be able to use that handle. That handle's straight. Nope, can't. It's not wide enough. It was the wrong handle for this. And look at all the junk that's in there. So we're going to do that. I want to do that. I want to do this. This is a little True Temper that I got online for about $9. Look at that. $9. That's the kind of stuff I'm into. I like that, because I can bring that back to its original condition. That's going to be amazing. And somebody who gets it from me will understand. When I get that done, they'll understand what was it like 100 years ago when guys were swinging that. And this one, it's a True Temper Kelly Perfect. Again, got a little toe wear here. I probably will not fix this toe, but I will restore the rest of the edge. Okay, to what its original is. And the way you do that, you go to the catalog, you download a picture, you take some measurements, you study the angles, and then you bring that back. Okay, and I'll do that. And I've got a chart, you know, you may have seen it on a recent video where I've got a chart that shows what the arcs are. So I will take the photograph, well, the drawing, some draftsman made the drawing. I will take that drawing and then I will find out where that is on my little my arc chart, and then I'll find out how this fits on it compared to that, and then I'll restore it. So that one goes here. And what we got here, oh, plumb double bit. That's great. I want to do that one. You know, I've got to do another video on my Rhineland pattern, Chinese Rhineland. This one, not as good as the other one, but I will make it as good as the other one. Yeah, that's not right. So we'll get that fixed, and that was a very successful video. I got like 11,000 views on that one. So I'm going to do that one again because I don't have any. I've gotten rid of all my little Rhineland hand axes. Look at this gorgeous baby. That's gorgeous. Another Plum, Michigan. Again, missing some toe. I will not worry about this toe. When I go to restore this angle, I'm going to restore it from about here where it's not worn all the way down. We'll get that one done. Okay, that's coming up. And let's see here. Put some of this stuff out of the way. What else have we got? It's got to be done. I have not gotten to. So Ed, you are not the only person that I'm letting down. I have not got. Look at this, a Keen Cutter Tribute. Tribute means this guy who does these, and he can do it for anyone that you want. You know, I'm not a collector. My wife will argue that. She said anybody's got 150 axes down in the basement and a bunch more in the truck, some out in the back porch and some in the garage, is probably a collector. Well, I didn't mean to be, but when somebody asks for an axe, I probably got it. I can get them one. This is a gorgeous head. Bad design here. I'll fix that. Maybe I will. Because this might not be a user. This might be a looker. This will be my economy version of a Keen Cutter. And then on the back, he lets you know that was a tribute. I've had this for months. I owe this guy a video. He wanted to see me hang it. Okay? And then I will, in that video, I'll tell you how you can get one. You can get any kind you want. And he'll put that on there for you. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to get that one done. I don't know when, because I'm taking off on the road again tomorrow. All right, put these out of the way. You know, I've got to make sheaths. I've got my conchos out because I got rid of all those. So I don't have one for myself. Got to get one of those. Look at the new knocker I got for my leather working. That's 2 pounds. Because I'm not going to spend $135 to get a Barry King 2-pound stamp maul. This thing is perfect. It works great. I could probably even use it like this. This is ultra high density polypropylene, just a few dollars on Amazon. Okay, this one, look at that. True Temper Kelly flint edge. That is just beautiful. Look at that. Got to get that one done. Put that one over there. This one, a Shapley. I have a Shapley boys axe. Never had a Shapley. I think, who'd made those? Kelly? So this is very old. Somebody tried to restore it. They took all the patina off. Dang, I wish they wouldn't do stuff like that. I don't know if you follow some of the threads, but I have made a comment about somebody that said he likes to bring them back and shine them all up. And I said, like, well, he said don't let them keep rusting. But that patina prevents corrosion. You want that. Here's another True Temper flint edge. We'll get that one hung. Let's see. And these are the new ones that it came in. I have still all those boxes and boxes of axes in the back room that have not been done. And probably can't get to them just because what we're going to do, oh, that's a nice one. Oh, that one fell on the floor. I got to bring that edge back. Okay, what is this one? A Craftsman. Oh, it's a Vaughn Craftsman. Oh yeah, you can tell. See how narrow it is right there? But how fat it is right here? That's a Vaughn. These are outstanding. That's what they call the barn door, or the barn Craftsman, the big C Craftsman. So that helps you date it. But that is awesome. I've had so many of these. Most of them are sold. But I just love them. Because I was able for a long time to get them for such a good price. Let me see if that's still running. Because I was able for so long to get them at such a good price. And now, you know, it kind of goes in cycles. I'm watching eBay, and people are starting to think that their axes are worth more than they really are. Look, if you're going to charge 80 bucks for an axe head or 70 bucks for an axe head, I'm not buying it. My limit's 20. I have to get them under 20. Do I have them down here? I have a Collins Legitimus I got for $13. Let's see where it is. Where is that thing? Oh, I might not. Oh, yeah, I do. No, here's the Homestead. Where is the... This is a Connecticut Homestead. And see, I get these for like 13 bucks. Now the Homestead's supposed to be lower quality. That one's going to need some touching up. That's why it's on that rack. The ones on the rack there, they need to have a little bit of work done to them. I don't like the way that's profiled, although it's absolutely a slicer. I want to redo the handle. Can you see the shoulders sticking out too far? I want to get that in because I'm going back over a lot of axes. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of axes I've got to redo because I want to do them to my new preferences. This was always just fine, but we're going to fix that. Okay, to my newly established preferences. That's important when I get to talk about Ed's handle. In fact, instead of talking about like, oh, look at that, a vintage console tool. Cannot wait. There was a time when Console Tool knew how to make jerseys. The modern jerseys they make are not so impressive. They're a little bit, they're aesthetically pleasing, and everybody that gets them, they like them for that reason. But functionally, this was the head that Console Tool made that was good. They're not that good anymore. And it has to do with the side beveling. So this would be technically a Baltimore jersey because it's fat and wedgy. The flat, thin ones, those are just jerseys. Okay, so we'll put this down here. And people don't make that distinction anymore. Remember, as manufacturers take over axe production, they can't have 400 production lines going. So they start to merge the styles. And what happens is they say Baltimore, Baltimore, Jersey, Baltimore. They smush them together. And they'll say like Dayton, Yankee, Maine. They just smush them together. Man started doing that in 1939 because it said, I don't want 3 different production lines for axes that are almost identical. They have the same outline. All right, so they did that. All right, let's talk about handles. Best way to talk about these handles is maybe talk about how they're made. The quality that I'm looking for. And if I'm going to spend $40 or more, these are $40. This is a Coach Cumberland East Coast Lumberjack handle. Okay, this one is a Hetherington. This one is an ash. So it's a little bit lighter than the hickory ones. But, and it also has wider growth rings than hickory. The hickory ones he has. So this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 growth rings across. He does this. He calls it run out. He said he doesn't count these. He wants to know how many of those growth rings run all the way to the eye. And definitely that's a sign of strength. He's got 1, 2, 3. He loses back here. Maybe 4. And he has 1, 2. On this side, 3 maybe. So 7 maybe he loses. How many do you have? 11? So he's got 7. So he's at about 50% on this one. So he likes to have 75%. But I don't anticipate any problems. I think this is going to be just fine. Because each of those, if you look here, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but do you see whatever starts down here goes all the way to the eye? Now, this I would not call run out. First of all, the ones on the knob don't matter. There's no stress there. The stress is going to be right up in here. Okay? And I don't see any run out up there. What we would be more concerned about, let's see if I can get a pencil and draw it on here. This is run out, because remember, I'm a fine woodworker. So run out is when your grain goes like this and comes off, like that. Now, if you get wood like this, now first of all, as a woodworker, I would not suggest taking any board you bought at a lumber yard and cutting an axe handle out of it, because of the impact you're going to be giving it, because of the stress. When I buy wood like for frames and stuff, those are decorative. They don't have any structural requirements. When I put the faces on cabinets, that's just for looks. I want as much what we call character as I can get sometimes. It depends on the job, but you put a face on a cabinet, if it has nice cathedral grain, if it has knots, it might just add character. So differences in color, grain swirls, patterns, fleck, any of that stuff, you would say it adds character. But when, I'm going to draw it on the side just so you can see it, I mean this way, right? But what I'm talking about is if all of your grain starts to turn out of your axe that way, it's going to snap right there. So if I take like a board I get from the lumber yard and it's got a knot, and around the knot the grain is swirling and some of it turns off of the handle, there's no way you can expect that to have strength. That's going to pop. And I've had some that do that. Let me see here. Not this one. Not this one. Because I save them. I don't ever throw something away. Let's see, because I'll be using it for something. Let's see here. Don't I have that up here? I do. Well, here's one. Yeah, this handle. This was a handle that had, it was a premium handle that I had bought, but it was B grade. They didn't want to sell it as their #1 grade because it had turnout. You see what it did? It just followed the grain right off of there. Now I can't find a spot where I can show you what it was doing, but this is the original break. And what had happened was, you see it's right in the middle of the handle, and I was telling Steve Edholm this, and he said that most of his cracks start up here at the eye. And I said, boy, I just don't want to cross that. I have one that did that. Let's see, it's this one. And this was an East Coast Lumberjack handle, and Rod replaced it right away. So it did crack up at the eye, but it's because up at the eye where this started, you can't see where it started right here. Because I had tried to fix it, and there's just too many attempts to fix it. It didn't make any sense. But up at the eye where this was, I left it too long. I left it over 1.5 inches. And when you leave that, you're leaving torque room, and it just started. It went across the grain. This is not following. You see where the grains are? This is going across them. So all it did was it broke this way. If you make a board, think of it this way. If you take a kid who's in karate, he can take a 12-inch board, and that little kid, maybe 10 years old, will whip that with his foot or with a knife hand strike, snap that board in half. Because you left him all that leverage. Now take half of that board and ask an adult there in Taekwondo and say, you split that. He'll break his foot. Even just after that one splice, that 6-inch piece of board, he can't split it with his foot without hurting himself really bad. Okay, so I would say that's what I look for. I want those grains to go straight this way. And see, they take a little wiggle here, but they continue. There's a little wobble there, I don't know for what reason. That's a great handle. This is a premium handle. That one's in ash. Let's see, I've got one around here. It's in hickory. Where is it? Come on. I just had it. Here it is. This is an East Coast Lumberjack Hetherington 30 inches in hickory, or 28 inches in hickory. So probably a better dimension for a boy's axe, but I found out it will work fine for this. And I've been working on it. You can see where the pencil marks are, where I'm thinking of thinning it, because it's all to my dimensions except this way. Okay, I'm going to narrow this part, and that's an adjustment I make based on head weight and what I expect it's going to require. I can always thin it more later. Okay, that one's coming out great. This one, I don't know if you can see it. May have to wet it so you can count these grains with me. Okay. Now can you see them? How many grains are in this hickory? This is kind of exciting. And Ed, we're getting to your exam in just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And this has got chamfered, but I would imagine there's a couple more there. So we could say 28. How many did we lose? Do you know how beautiful this is going to be for character? Do you see how each of those is coming out here? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 coming out here. That's going to be a cool pattern. 1, 2, 3. These are wider. 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side. That means, what did I just say? Now I'm going to have to play this back to find out what the number is. How many of these? I got almost 30 going across here. The rest of those grains, look at them all. They're going straight up to that eye and out the top. I don't expect, there's no run out here. Some people would call that run out. No, you're crazy. Remember, run out, it's when it goes this way. If all the grains all of a sudden dive off this way, it's going to snap there. On that premium handle that broke on me, over a 7-inch difference here, all the grains ran off the handle, all of them. So when I was bucking and I hit it and it glanced and it went like this, It's stuck in the other part of the buck. You know, that you're putting in that sort of wedge shape in there. It hit off this side, dashed across there, but when it did it, my immediate reaction was stop it. And it was just like a batter checking his swing and breaking his bat. When I did that, I stopped it, it just kept going and snapped it. Right at those lines, it just went very dramatic, catastrophic failure of the handle. So we don't have that. All right, we're done talking about all those. Let's get up to Ed's. Ed, when your handle came, I was not excited. I said, oh, darn it. Ed, you said you were going to send me a handle. You sent it me because it's a blemish. And he said, see what you can do with this. He's got his gorgeous logo right there. And that's the problem. I was going like, Ed, you made so much work for me. You've seen my videos. You know what I'm going to do to this handle. How can I get my dimensions? How can I narrow this down to my dimensions and save your logo? So I was not anxious. I've been talking to Raw Axes, you know, Brad Ratanya down in Omaha. And I said, hey, Brad, I'm going to come down there. Let's do this together. And we could make a cool video on how we're going to do this, what you would do, what I would do, because there's lots of ways to do it. What are your preferences and why? Be very informative to people who like to Haft axes. And, oh, I got to get these out. I haven't taken these out yet. Well, let me have to cut this. Hey, Nate, look what I got. I just saw in a video of yours, you have the same one. I got that at a rummage sale where I got a bunch of old tools. I don't know how old that is. I just figured it was old, and then I saw you have one, and I thought, what's the odds, man? That's kind of cool. All right, so there's a RedBeard sticker. That's going on my hard hat. I'm an old construction guy, so all my stickers go on my hard hat. Look at that. That's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to put those up there. We got the stickers off. Let's go to talking. First of all, I love salt and pepper. So he's got heartwood and sapwood on this axe. We're going to go down here. Before I even counted the rings, I go like, wow, he's got that egg shape on there. This is an egg-shaped handle. I kind of like those. I like the oval one, which are called shaped handles. They're oval on this side and flat on the sides. So this is kind of flat, but it's tapered. And the bottom, this would be something I would be concerned about. The bottom is not sharp. It's not a sharp angle. So it feels good. I may even soften that more, but that's up to the person's preferences, whoever swings it. That's not a condition of quality. And when I count the rings and stuff, I can't guarantee that your axe, if you get one from him, has the same number. I can guarantee it's going to be the same quality or better, because he doesn't want the blemish in yours. And the pattern. This is a lovely pattern. I like softly bent handles. I don't like severe curves in the handle. I don't like perfectly straight handles, though I can use them. I like them to hook a little bit. That's got a giant palm swell, which I need, especially since I can no longer count on being able to wrap my thumb around it. I need that big handle. If you do not have a big handle, the traditional way to solve that is rough up the 6 to 8 inches on the handle here so that your anchor hand has something to grip. You don't want this rough. This part you want smooth. You want it silky smooth. But you want to be able to hold on to the bottom, and that's the two traditional ways to do it. Either put a big, this is the most expensive way to do it, because look at how much wood is gone on the sides here to make sure that he has that. Or you could laminate a couple of pieces of wood on here to give yourself a bigger swell, or rough it up. So if I have one like this is a modern Collins. All right, so I've got this modern Collins. I have not done it. I'm going to need to do it. I'm still debating. Do I want to put some panels on this because it's a really cheap axe? It's $40 at the hardware store. Or do I want to rough it up? Or put some tape on it. Put some, like, skateboard tape or something. Because your anchor hand doesn't slide. You're not worried about that one. You're worried about the hand that slides. You don't want to make blisters. Okay? Now, I've been using it just as is, but if I'm going to continue to use it, I've got to do something with this grip. On Brad's, I don't have to worry about it because, look at that. Bam! There's no way you can let that slip. And it's perfectly symmetrical. You don't get that on a cheap house handle. You will get it on a cheap Foxy handle. Those are perfectly symmetrical. I really like the Foxy ones. I'm in love with the house ones because they're traditional size. Mark that point. Remember that I'm worried I'm going to lose this as I bring it down to my dimensions. Ooh, Ed. Oh, Ed, this is what I got excited. It's a tick over 3/4 inches, and that's what I aim for. I can easily take that 1/16 of an inch off, or whatever I need, off this side. And I'm just going to follow the pattern. In fact, I think that's a little wider on that side, so it's actually going to make it more uniform. Just because the curve on this one, incidentally, seems to be a little bit... That was not good. Oh, keep falling, keep falling, keep falling. More. Are you done? Okay, good. All right, so the kerf is just a little tad off center, which is perfect because when I sand this side down with no logo on it, that's going to be perfectly balanced. That's going to be awesome. Okay, so I like the egg shape. I like the count of grain. How much grain do we have here? Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Well, I talked too long, and there's a 20-minute limit on the camera's memory card or recording abilities. So, just was taking this Man True American, isn't that gorgeous? And putting some wax on it. Want to just wrap it up and say, I like the shape, this egg shape. It is not too severe on this ridge. If it were, I could just round that off more. I like flat sides with oval, they call a shaped handle. I like this egg shape, and I like it a lot. I like the fact that it came in traditional dimensions. You know, like we said, this is just a touch over 3/4 of an inch, and 3/4 of an inch is what I'm shooting for. Okay, I like that it comes with ideal grain. These are straight up and down, meaning that these growth rings run all the way from here, all the way up to the eye. I like that the curve is centered enough that I can use that as a guide when I'm starting to haft this. I like that this is thick up here, so I can match it, I can make it match any head. Okay, this one is a, how long is it? I think he said 32. We'll see. Because anywhere from 28 to 36, like, okay, it says 31. By the time I get that hung, it'll be 30, which is very nice. For the size axe I'll put on here, that'll be very nice. Maybe, you know what? I think this council tool needs to go on there. Let's do that. And the eye gives me plenty of room to work with, so I can make that fit no matter how. When you deal with vintage axes, no matter how, well, now council tool, you did this nice. That's very even eye walls on this side, and very, very close. This one's a little thick. Very close on this side. But what you're looking for is that, you know, when they're doing these eyes, they could be twisted a little bit this way or this way. They could be a little bit off that way or that way. And you have to be able to account for that on these. If you are using a hardware store axe like the Foxys, even with the one, I told them, leave this rough. Don't do any, don't sand it. Don't, I want you to be giving me a blank, basically. So a blank of hickory to make an axe handle out of in the size that I need it. But at least $35, sometimes more, and then shipping. This was like $6 or $7, and the shipping wasn't bad. And I ordered a box of them. Okay, they'll do what you tell you, or they'll do what you tell them. And it's cut pretty symmetrically. The only thing I've got to do is thin it to my dimensions, and remember the dimensions on this are way too fat. That's a inch and 3/8. No, inch and 3/16. Yeah, almost an inch and a quarter across. And I need 3/4, so I'm taking a 1/2 inch off this. A 1/4 inch off this side and 1/4 inch off this side to get it to where I want it. And when you come this way, not too bad. I need to come down 1/8 of an inch. All right. But up here, they didn't leave me enough to work with. So I can put this council tool on and say like, uh-oh, it ain't gonna work. This won't work. I could force it to work, but you see, I can't use this because I've got, look at the gap here. The gap in the tenon get it just right. The gap in the tenon is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, well, a little bit more, maybe 3/16 of an inch gap there. I have to fill that with something. So yeah, I'm not going to use this for that. Now at the top, the wedge will fill it up, but the wedge doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the axe. So if you got a gap in the bottom of your axe, you're going to have to wedge from the bottom as well, or just fill it with something. And I could glue in a strip of wood here if I wanted to, I suppose. I don't want to. When you get one from RedBeard, you won't need to. This is all up to you, what you want to do. And if you're into hafting axes, that's what you want. You want oversized. When it comes down to this, if that's straight, look at that. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. See how straight that is? Why is it that straight? Because they split it with the grain. There's neither side is pulling. When you start to do your grain orientation off to a side, you can induce a tendency as it dries or as it absorbs moisture to want to curve, to want to curl. But when it's straight, the tension is the same on both sides. As for heartwood and sapwood, that's personal preference. You probably could request it to be all sapwood or all hardwood. I think that Hoffman handles comes all hardwood. Not sure. I only have ever had one of them. Well, in hand axes I've had several Hoffman handles. But hand axe, that's a whole different discussion. None of this applies to hand axes. So I like the shape. I like the grain count. What did we get to a grain count? We were counting them before. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So in this distance, you have 31. And that's a distance at the knob of at least 1 3/4. It's a little bit bigger than that because it's chamfered here. What are you losing here? What doesn't count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. that are a little wider on 7, maybe a little wider on this one. So maybe 15 or 16. But it isn't going to matter to me because all of these grains that are left in the middle travel all the way up this head. There's no run out. Run out's when these grains take off. I mean, they exit the handle. They go all the way up, all the way to the curve. Okay? So I like the pattern. I like the egg shape. I like that egg shape here. I like that the dimensions are perfect. I am not going to have to touch that logo. If I decide to make this thinner, I haven't decided yet, if I decide to make it thinner, and I probably will, I'll probably take about a 1/16 of an inch off on this side. His logo gets to stay. It's already sanded smooth. I might make it just a little bit smoother here, but I don't see saw marks or anything. I see a glorious handle that's just about ready to hang. Once I shape this, I'm done. Unless I want to tinker with this, I don't have to tinker with it much. And that's perfect. That's perfect. Get yourself a RedBeard handle if you need a quality axe handle. This one definitely can take the council tool. And won't that be cool? Putting a vintage council tool jersey on this handle. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm saying we're going to do it. When I do it, I'll put it up. All right, thank you.